The Dallas Cowboys drafted Donovan Ezeiruaku out of Boston College, and this is a guy that I think has absolute superstar potential. Ezeiruaku, to me, is one of those guys that I think should have went a lot higher than he did. This class was unique because there were so many good defensive ends, but Donovan Ezeiruaku is one of those guys that at the Senior Bowl dominated. He went up against guys like Josh Connerly and Anthony Belton, and this guy had a phenomenal Senior Bowl. And I think the Dallas Cowboys got themselves a very good football player, and I'm excited to get into it. We're going to start right away talking about this guy's pass rush, because I think that's the one thing that pretty much on day one he's going to be able to bring to the Dallas Cowboys. This guy has a legit pass rush plan, and when I say legit, I'm telling you guys, this guy has it. This guy has a swim move, a spin move, a cross chop. This guy has the double hand swipe, the single hand swipe. This guy will hezzy out of his stance, as you guys are going to see multiple times on tape. To me, this guy definitely has what it takes to be an absolute elite player at that next level. And you see plays like this where he just straight up beats this left tackle here. And notice how quickly the left tackle gets out of his stance. He's obviously the first guy that gets out of his stance. Because he explodes out of there in the 45-degree set, he ends up beating Ezeiruaku to this landmark. And what that means is the defensive end at this point is not going to be able to go to the outside. And Donovan Ezeiruaku does a phenomenal job just straight up beating this guy to the inside. Left swipe, right arm comes right over the top. And just like that, he beats a pretty good offensive lineman, and he's going to be able to sack the quarterback. But this is not a one-time thing with this kid. Trust me, this guy was pretty much out there wreaking havoc this entire season. He is very, very, very solid, and we're going to just continue to look at some of these different moves. You're going to see him hit this left tackle with the cross chop. He's going to set it up perfectly. Inside to the outside, cross chop, gets held. Really, really, really nice play. Let's break this down a little bit. So first and foremost, when you think about that cross chop move, you have to set this up to the inside. And it's not just being able to set this up to the inside. You then have to have the athletic profile to be able to jump outside. At the same time, when you swipe with your inside arm, you hit the outside arm of the tackle. You got to be able to pin with the right hand. And you see that all kind of happen on tape. He's going to fake to the inside, jumps outside. Here comes the cross chop, the pin. And then even with that, he's going to follow it up with the rip move at the very, very end right there. And you see him rip past the left tackle. He ends up getting held. You can see the left tackle kind of pulls him. And he's going to end up generating pressure on the quarterback. But do keep in mind, the quarterback does not have a 5 or 7 step drop. This is not a deep design play. It's a 3-step drop. The ball's meant to get out. And you still see the Boston College defensive end here generate pressure. Again, to me, just a really, really good, effective move. And when we talk about pass rush plan, this is what we talk about. Right? When you think about Micah Parsons, when you think about Max Crosby, these guys know how to set up these tackles, these guards, these centers, right? They know how to set these offensive linemen up. Different moves and different angles. The mind games, right? The pass rush plan is something that Donovan Ezeiruaku definitely has flashed on tape. Let's just continue it. You got another nice, effective move, and once again, he's going to get to the quarterback. Again, you think about a defensive end, you think about the pass rush moves, the plan, the different techniques that they can utilize. There's probably not a better pure pass rusher than Donovan Ezeiruaku. Mike Green comes close, in my opinion, from a technique standpoint, but this guy's arguably better than all the other guys, right? Here's a spin move he's going to end up hitting on this left tackle. He's going to start this outside, spins back to the inside. And again, do not overlook the setup within this play. So when you think about this play, the left tackle explodes out of there, and he's going to end up hitting that landmark before Ezeiruaku is going to be able to. He's going to hit that landmark. Notice how number 6 here is going to widen his stance just a little bit, right? He's not going to come inside. He's going to widen it out, and he's going to end up spinning right back to the inside. Phenomenal job. You get 73 to essentially turn his back as well. And that move's going to be effective, and it's going to get home on the quarterback. And once again, he's going to get that sack. Just a phenomenal job. As a defensive end, I think this guy has what it takes to be a really, really good football player. You obviously see all the different pass rush moves. This guy also has really good movement, and I think that's another part of being able to be a good edge player. You got to have good movement. It's going to be another part of if this guy is going to be able to translate and have success. Does this guy play with high effort? Absolutely. Multiple plays where if he doesn't win right away, the effort just keeps coming. And that's a part of what makes this guy different, right? The effort, the technique, the ability to just kind of keep going and just getting after the quarterback play and play out is really impressive. Here's another move. Now, this one's not technically a move, but it's about changing up the pass rush, right? So on this one here, he's going to just dip past the left tackle, right? He's going to essentially use speed. Notice how he's going to this time tighten the left tackle before he jumps outside. So on the play earlier, you guys saw him kind of widen the tackle out. On this one, he's going to step inside to make that tackle feel a little bit tighter before he jumps outside. So again, you're going to see him tighten, jumps outside, and then he dips. Right, and with the dip, you're also going to get the rip move right there. Phenomenal job once again by Ezeiruaku, and with that, he's going to end up forcing the fumble on the quarterback on this one. Just a really, really good rep. Let's just keep it going. I want to just keep showing you guys a couple more pass rush moves that this guy has. You guys have seen already like 5-6 different moves. Here's another one that's going to be a single hand swipe, and then he's essentially going to pull the tackle outwards. So on this one here, he's going to obviously end up going wide on the left tackle. Right hand's going to punch. Perfect landing on this. The left tackle here is going to try to bait Donovan Ezeiruaku. Left tackle is going to put that left hand up right as he gets out of his stance. Ezeiruaku doesn't really fall for it. Left hand's going to get to the chest. Right hand's going to be swiping the outside arm. Just a really nice single hand swipe by Ezeiruaku. He beats the left tackle and even pulls him forward a little bit. You'll see the pull here. Let me go ahead and slow it down so you guys can just see that pull. A really nice job getting out of his stance. Left hand's going to swipe. And then watch the pull with the right arm right there. It's a really, really nice job to be able to use that right arm. And again, pass rush plan, right? If your first move doesn't work, if your second move doesn't work, you have the effort to go to your third move, your fourth move. Do you have the effort, play in, play out to get after it? And Donovan Ezeiruaku definitely plays with a ton of effort. Now, in terms of scheme fit, I think the Dallas Cowboys are really getting to a point where they have so many different guys that can play so many different roles. I want you guys to think about this with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, you have a guy like Dante Fowler Jr., who is definitely going to be speed rush primarily. And then you have a guy in Micah Parsons, who, yes, he's definitely mostly going to be speed. But we've seen Parsons jump to the inside. We've seen Parsons go up against centers and guards. And then at the same time, you now have some other guys as well. For example, Marshawn Kneeland, who is obviously a defensive end, but he could also jump into that 3 technique. Solomon Thomas has also played on the edge a little bit, but he can also play on the inside. And although some people might think Donovan Ezeiruaku is mostly just a pass rusher, he can also play the run. In fact, the guy was one of the most dominant run defenders statistically last season. And of course, you know, we're not overlooking the pass rush, right? You see plays like this. This is not normal right here, right? Outside, swims back inside, gets to the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback barely finishes the drop back. Right, 1, 2, 3. His guy to the right's not open. He's thinking about coming back left, and he's already going down. Right, that right there is elite. And the Dallas Cowboys have done a really, really good job kind of revamping that front 7. They put the investments in, and they're continuously putting the investments in as well. And this is one of those guys that I think is going to be a really, really good player. I think Ezeiruaku could probably be a day 1 starter, truth be told. Obviously, I think Marshawn Kneeland plays a role as well, especially on early downs. But when you have the pass rush plan and the pass rush technique that Ezeiruaku has, paired with the run defense, I don't see why this guy should not start pretty much on day 1. Right? This guy definitely has what it takes. And I'm excited to watch this guy as he kind of gets into preseason and watch what this guy does in the NFL. But with that being stated, let's switch focus and let's talk a little bit about this guy's run defense. Statistically, Ezeiruaku was one of the best run defenders coming out of college this past season. Now, on tape, I wouldn't say he's the best, but he is still very, very solid. And you definitely see a lot of plays where this guy's able to get after it. And he's able to shut the run down. And I oftentimes say this, if you're an elite pass rusher, which Donovan Ezeiruaku obviously is, that elite pass rushing can translate to your run defense. Here's a great example of that. You're going to see Ezeiruaku explode out of there, right? That elite burst step. And you're going to also see him just straight up beat the right tackle, essentially using his pass rush technique. Right, look at him just straight up swipe away the arms of the right tackle. Right hand's going to swipe it away. He's going to end up beating the tackle to the corner. He's also going to end up ripping with the right arm to make sure that the tackle's not going to be able to grab onto him. And just like that, he's in the backfield blowing this play up. So again, sometimes your pass rush will translate to the run defense. And with Donovan Ezeiruaku, that's definitely going to be the case. This guy's pass rush definitely translates. The effort, right? The high energy definitely translates as well. You see it play in, play out, where this guy's definitely making the play. Now, part of being a good run defender isn't always just getting upfield, and it's not always just about causing disruption, although that is definitely a big part of it. In the NFL today, one of the things teams love to do is run wide zone, and the only way you can really stop wide zone is if at the point of attack, right on the front side, you're able to set the edge. You know, one of the reasons why Marshawn Kneeland gets drafted so high is because when he takes on tackles, when he takes on tight ends and fullbacks, when he's the front side guy, he takes it on and he sets that edge. If you guys keep an eye on the tight end here, he's going to make contact with Ezeiruaku, and his responsibility is to take this guy and push him as far to the right as he possibly can. And watch how Ezeiruaku is going to end up taking this guy on. He's going to do a really, really good job being violent at the point of attack with those hands. He's going to bench press the tight end. He's going to lock out with the left arm. And look at him set the edge. There's no movement here. Relative to the tackle, watch the movement the tackle is going to get on this defensive tackle. Look at number 93 here get pushed out of there by the left tackle. Relative to Ezeiruaku, who's going to end up basically just setting the edge, right? Just a really, really good job by the defensive end to set the edge at the point of attack, be physical. So this is something you're going to definitely see from him against the run. He definitely comes downhill. He makes contact with tight ends, fullbacks, even offensive linemen, although I will say he does have to continue to improve, especially taking on offensive linemen. One of the things he does a lot against offensive linemen is he'll like swim over the top or he'll jump inside or outside. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've seen Micah Parsons dominate in the NFL, basically playing the run, utilizing the quickness and the speed. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. But one of the reasons why Ezeiruaku wasn't a top 10 pick, which, you know, if you watch the tape, he looks like he's an elite player, right? And I shouldn't say he looks, he definitely is an elite player, but there are some NFL teams that do think that he might not be good enough against the run. But if you can, you know, against the left tackle do this, right? If you can beat a guy in space, it doesn't matter if you use your speed against the run, right? You can do what this team essentially is doing on plays like this. If you have a guy that might be on the faster side, you can have him jump inside if he can get past that offensive tackle. Because then you can have your linebacker essentially loop around. And you can just run this natural run stunt among those two guys. And again, if your defensive end's this explosive and he can beat guys this quickly, and he can disrupt the run or just tackle this running back in the backfield, I would take that all day. And I think there are some defensive coaches that kind of realize this. And some great defensive coordinators realize it as well, right? That you can do a whole lot of different things depending on the guy you have out there. And we're seeing Donovan Ezeiruaku absolutely dominate. And I'm excited to see what this guy kind of translates into. You know, we're definitely going to be following this guy in training camp, in preseason. We're going to watch this guy as he continues to develop in the NFL. And we're going to watch and see what this guy can actually, you know, translate into at that next level. I think he's going to be an absolute superstar in the NFL as he continues to develop. You know, it might not be year one, but, you know, as he develops, I think he's going to be a really, really good football player. The effort that he plays with, the technique he puts out there on tape is all really, really, really incredible. And again, I know some people will say he doesn't have the power to anchor against the run. But I watch plays like this and, you know, who needs to anchor when you can just beat guys with one hand with, you know, quickness, jumping outside. This is a great example of something that this guy can do, right? So you get a mid-zone concept to the inside. And look at how fast he's going to end up just beating this tight end. And look at that. Swipe, left arm comes over the top. And just like that, the running back is not going to be able to hit this towards the right side. Running back has to essentially hit this to the inside gaps because you got a guy coming right off the edge, right? So again, just a really, really good football player. And if this is the first time you're on this channel, do consider subscribing. We are obviously covering the Dallas Cowboys on this channel. We've done a ton of content over the past couple of seasons, and we will definitely continue to cover the Cowboys this season. I really think the Dallas Cowboys are building something special on the defensive side. Ezeiruaku, to me, is a really, really good football player. You get Siobhan Rebel in the 3rd round. That's a guy that was once considered a top 10 pick, right? Before he ended up getting hurt. And that doesn't include some of the other guys, right? Micah Parsons, Osa Odigizua, Mozzie Smith might actually take that leap this year, right? Defensive tackles sometimes take 3 to 4 years. It's going to be a very, very interesting season this season. I'm excited for it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time with another video.